All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is where you are. Thank you for joining us today for this session. If this is your first time joining the ICCP, welcome. And if you're back, glad to see you back again. If you've been here before, you know that I like to jump straight in with an introduction of the ICCP, and I'll go ahead and get started. So, who is the ICCP and what do we do? The Institute of Construction Claims Practitioners is a professional members organization that recognizes those with the skills, qualifications, and expertise in the management of construction claims. And we have three primary objectives, which are to establish international standards, to give recognition to those who have gained the appropriate knowledge and skills in the management of claims, and to help educate those who would like to gain that experience and knowledge to professionally deal with claims. So why is there the need for the ICCP when there are so many other construction organizations? Well, construction claims have become a key part of the international construction industry. And as you all know, claims professionals come from a variety of backgrounds: quantity surveying, engineering, project management, legal, the list goes on. And until the ICCP, there has been no institute that specifically recognized the specialist knowledge, experience, and skills that it takes to manage, prepare, and respond to claims to the highest degree of professionalism. Okay, I would like to quickly introduce that we have an elected steering committee. We have 5 elected fellows. We have Andy Hewitt, our executive officer, and Paul, our elected president. In terms of membership, we have 3 levels of regular individual membership that each have their own criteria to attain. Additionally, we have the levels of student and graduate membership for those who are completing their initial construction qualification. And we have corporate membership, which is available to companies and departments that specialize in claims. Okay. And what is in it for the members? We have industry knowledge in the form of a private members area, which has collections of articles, research, white papers, etc. in our knowledge bank. We have a roster of higher education institutions for those who would like to get a higher degree. We have a listing of upcoming CPD opportunities around the world and the internet. And we have a bookshop that does not sell books, but does offer reviews of the latest industry releases. We also have a collection of practical templates to help our members not only save time with their claims, but also ensure that they are completed to the highest level. We have regular CPD opportunities like this one. This is open to the public, but only members will get a CPD certificate. We also have the ICCP Academy, which are more technical sessions, which are only for members. We offer discounts on books and further training through our training partner claims class. We offer a monthly newsletter to keep our members up to date on the latest in the industry. We offer industry exposure in the form of a public listing of our members, as well as certificates of membership and logos. We also have a private LinkedIn group where members can discuss their current contracts and claims questions in a confidential setting. And finally, we have the optional benefit of the Register of Claims Practitioners, and this is a popular benefit among our members who are private consultants. Okay, I realize that was extremely fast, but I wanted to get straight to our presentation. So if you requested more information when you registered for this session, you will be getting an email in the next few days. You can also visit our website, instituteccp.com, or you can email Polina Ganeva at polina.ganeva.instituteccp.com. And with that, I am going to hand over to our presenter for today, Paul Njonga. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jen. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. Today, we are going to explore how AI technology can transform our claim practice. As we all know, managing claims can be time-consuming and complex. So let's see how AI can simplify this process, making it more efficient and effective. The insights and example I'll share today are based on summarized views. The opinions shared are exclusively those of the speaker, myself, and do not reflect the views of the ICCP. Today, we are not going to explore the technical details of AI as they fall outside of this webinar. The content is only for information, and you need to seek professional advice. A bit about myself. I'm the founder of ClaimMaster.AI. I'm a quantum claims consultant in the buildings and civil sector. I'm an ex-Turner & Townsend for those who know about Turner & Townsend, and I'm a chartered member of the CIOB. I champion simplifying construction claims management using AI. The topics we're going to cover today includes understanding why disputes persist in the industry, what are the challenges of claim preparation, what is generative AI. We're going to look into the foundation models against the custom AI models. Then we're going to move on to the interactions with AI models, why leverage AI for claims preparation, and what's in it for you. In other words, what are the benefits for your practice? Then we're going to take a couple of AI tools for a spin, ChatGPT and ClaimMaster.AI. Then we're going to come back and talk about the ethics and data privacy, as these are very important when we are dealing with AI. After that, we're going to look into some myths about AI and also the realities. Next, I'm going to share some resources, and we're going to move on to the Q&A session. First off, let's discuss the reason behind many construction disputes. Here, I've shared some insights from Arcadis, which highlight the three main causes of construction disputes: the poor drafting of claims, the non-compliance with contractual terms, and contract errors. However, the common cause of disputes, in my opinion, is poorly drafted and unsubstantiated claims. As we go through vast volume of records in our practice, we waste valuable time, we lose focus, and we make errors. The common challenges include poor presentation, flawed reasoning, incomplete records, lack of evidence, and misaligned expectations. This in turn often leads to missed deadlines, heightened legal risks, cost overruns, damaged relationships with our clients, stakeholders, partners, and we end up diverting resources. Sorry, just go back. Can you see it well, everyone?
Yeah, this is perfect now, thanks.
Okay. So what is AI? Generative AI is a branch of AI that generates new content, as simple as that. From text to images, to audio, to code. It can simulate scenarios, claim scenarios, project scenarios as well. In our context, it generates dynamic templates and legally compliant assistance. You can manipulate the tone of voice and a bit more. Now, let's look at foundation versus custom AI models. Foundation models, for example, ChatGPT, are versatile across topics. They bring a broad knowledge base. They can quickly deploy. We can quickly deploy them. They are cost-effective and highly customizable. Now, the drawbacks are that they are less specialized. They generate random output, and they are time-consuming. One of the key disadvantages is that they can hallucinate, i.e. giving false information, for example, making up legal cases. In terms of custom AI, like ClaimMaster.AI, they bring more focus through customized prompt design. We can leverage established principles to complement our expertise. In terms of drawback, they are expensive to build, they bring a narrow focus, and there is a risk of overfitting the model, i.e. bombarding the model with irrelevant documents. They are unfit for general knowledge. Now, how do we interact with AI models? We must prompt them effectively to generate the most accurate output. For that, we use two techniques: prompt design and prompt engineering. Let's start with prompt design. Prompt design is very basic, where we craft clear, effective questions or tasks for the AI to elicit the most accurate and useful responses. Now, for example, we can generate a detailed report on handling a construction disruption claim with sections on cause, effect, entitlement, substantiation, and mitigation strategies, ensuring clarity, comprehensive analysis, and actionable guidance. When it comes to the structure, we have to give it the correct structure in order to get the right output when we design the prompt. So the structure for the prompt design is we give it a content type, specific content type on a specific topic with specific instructions to guide it towards our desired qualities and outcome. On the other side, prompt engineering is deeper, more technical, where, for example, in our case, in practice, in claims practice, we design the AI in such a way that it becomes our clone. We set a role. We say, for example, you are a construction claim practitioner. This is your task. For example, craft a professional disruption claim notice on the FIDIC Contract Red Book 2017 in a format, for example, a letter. This ensures that we get the most accurate output. However, to get the most optimal output, we can combine these two techniques, prompt design and prompt engineering, like we'll see with ClaimMaster.AI. How do we leverage AI for claim preparation? We use established principles. AI empowers us to solve complex problems, enhance our efficiency, improve communication, gather comprehensive insights, handle claims in a professional manner, apply logical reasoning, and develop more structured arguments, and finally, collaborate effectively with stakeholders. So what's in it for you? What's the benefit? We become more efficient by using AI. It cuts down claim drafting time, enabling faster case handling, saving time and money. It allows precision by leveraging vast data. AI minimizes errors for more compelling claims. In terms of risk management, AI can help us identify and articulate issues accurately, reducing dispute risks. It offers actionable insights as well for better claim management decisions. We can also learn and develop by using AI. It enhances our professional expertise through advanced AI integration. Now we're going to spend, as you've noticed, we've had to fly through the first few slides because we are going to spend more time practicing. First, we're going to start with ChatGPT. Next, we're going to move on to ClaimMaster.AI. Within ChatGPT, we are going to create a GPT, which is a clone of ourselves. Let me share my screen very quickly.
You may need to stop sharing and then share again and choose a different, yeah.
Let me just do that. Just from here, we're back now. Are we good now?
Yes, that's perfect.
Right. Now we are within ChatGPT, where we can discover and create custom version of ChatGPT that combine instructions, extra knowledge, and any combination of skills. What we're going to do here is create a GPT, which is our custom version of ChatGPT. First, we're going to tell it what we would like to make. We're going to say, make a construction claim practitioner that helps builders and contractors manage claims. Then we're going to hit enter. ChatGPT is thinking right now to give us to generate the best profile. It's going to come up with more questions. It's going to suggest a name as well. So we can say, no, name it claim expert. It's going to do some thinking again. It's going to generate a profile picture. Now we have a picture. If you notice on the right-hand side, we have our picture. We have the name ready for us. Now AI asks, do you like it or would you like any changes? We can say no. Let's proceed. Great. Now we're going to refine it. We're going to say, it's going to ask first off, how would you approach offering advice? We'll say, offer the most comprehensive advice. You are the expert in FIDIC contracts. It's going to do some thinking again to update the model. Now that we've established a comprehensive expert level approach to advice, establishing the FIDIC contract, what's the next aspect of interaction we should focus on? We could say focus on FIDIC Red Book 2017. You don't need to worry about spelling mistakes because AI corrects itself. You'd say yes, reference specific clauses. of case studies to help us navigate this contract. Now, what AI is telling us now is that ClaimExpert is now finely tuned to offer detailed clause-specific advice on navigating the FIDIC Red Book 2017, including relevant clauses, case studies for comprehensive understanding. Now, let's message on the right-hand side. Let's message ClaimExpert. I'm going to type a case just to see what ClaimExpert comes up with. Counters unforeseen subsoil that significantly impacted the project cost and schedule. Should we proceed with notifying engineer and the employer to ensure we're compensated for the additional time and cost incurred under what we've just done there? We are giving ClaimExpert context. You have to bear in mind that we are keeping our name, the name of our project, anonymous. That's very important when dealing with AI. Let's check the output. Now, this is the output that has been generated. As an expert, what I need to do is check whether this output is correct. Now, for the purpose of this webinar, I can't tell you whether the output is correct, but what you do when you are live on site or you are dealing with a claim, you must double check every single advice generated by AI. Now, the key advantage is that within seconds, in one click, we've generated this insight. That would have taken us perhaps a few hours, days maybe, but now we have something that we can work with. We can focus on managing the clients, managing the engineer, because don't forget, the engineers are busy people as well. So what we do here, we don't start from a blank canvas, we go away, we think, and we proceed to the next stage. So this is the output. It starts with the action, record the condition. Let's go back, starting with the question. We've asked how we should proceed to notify the engineer and the employer. It came back with the action, immediate action, how to notify the engineer under the contract with the specific clause as we fine-tune ClaimExpert. Previously, it suggested we write a detailed report and proposal. We have the 42 days allowance as per FIDIC. We need to engage with the engineer, i.e. we discuss the adjustment, we follow up and submit the formal formal submission. Then we need to manage the process, adhere to the timeline, timeframes, record keeping, and seek professional advice. And if disagreement persists, proceed with dispute resolution. That's pretty comprehensive, but we need to double check the advice to make sure that AI has generated the correct output. Has anyone got any specific questions to ask ClaimExpert at this point? Any questions to ask or any follow-up question?
We have had two quick questions. I'll just ask if anyone has a specific example question that they would like him to use next. Go ahead and put that in the Q&A box, please. But while we wait for that, I'll go ahead and ask first, can a specific contract be loaded within the AI to ask about its clauses? So if you have a bespoke contract, can you load that in, or is that still too long for AI to handle at once?
It is too long for AI to handle at once, and I wouldn't suggest it for privacy and security reasons. In order to input a contract into AI, you need to structure the data, you need to cleanse the data. What that means is you need to remove any references to the client, essentially to the parties to that contract, or any names, for example, contract. Or what you could do is, instead of writing, for example, Paul Construction, you write XYZ Construction. That keep the data anonymous. That way you can just upload it and I'll follow up with a question. It will give you some output as well. But I would be cautious with that approach because AI is not ready yet to perform that sort of task. So what you should do is pick out sections of your contract perhaps and upload it and ask that specific question rather than uploading the whole contract into AI.
Okay, and I think this goes right along with that. Someone else has asked, how can we use AI in a private agreement that is not public?
AI shouldn't be used for private agreements. AI should be used for specific questions not relating to any private agreement. I mean, by private agreement, what do you mean by private agreement? First of all, is it private contract or just a variation, a verbal, variation or verbal agreement? We need to define that first. But in terms of finding out if AI can advise, in a private agreement, just ask the question to AI. It'll give you some insight that you could use in your your situation.
Okay, thank you. I don't think anybody has put into the Q&A box a specific question that could be used as an example. So if anyone has something that is maybe similar to the question that Paul has already used as an example to get a different example, go ahead and put that in. And I'll just, while we wait for that, I will just pepper Paul with a couple more quick questions that are all sort of along the same line. Can you create a GPT based on your bespoke contract?
Of course you can. Of course you can. Without referencing your exact contract, you can. For example, you could create a GPT to say, look, I am a project manager working on an NEC contract. Just provide advice, the best comprehensive advice based on NEC contracts. You can do that. What you can't do is refer to your actual contract with the names of the parties involved, etc. Because AI isn't ready yet to handle that type of situations.
Okay, and the second part of his question was, will the information uploaded online only be available to your specific GPT?
This is a very good question. I wouldn't advise at this point to upload your specific contract to your GPT, because AI, ChatGPT, for example, could end up training AI based on your data. What I would suggest is, for instance, use a custom AI that has been trained not to relay the information back to the foundation model. What that means is, as you type, it doesn't feed back the information to the machine, to the transformer, back at OpenAI, for example, if we use OpenAI, or if we use Google, for example. So the algorithm blocks the information going back. So all you do effectively, once you ask the question, it goes out and fetches the output for you, but it doesn't perform the reverse route, if that makes sense. So we customize GPTs in a way that it doesn't train the main model. But with ChatGPT, I wouldn't advise it at this point in time, because ChatGPT hasn't allowed for that notice yet. For example, if you see other GPTs, for example, a Microsoft Copilot, they will say your data are safe. You will see a warning by the text box to say your data are private and secure. What that means is the AI, that specific model, is not training the machine on your data. But because GPT doesn't have that, that means anything you input into ChatGPT is bound to train the main transformer. That's the key difference. We'll see next with ClaimMaster.AI, for example, where we have that little notice which says your privacy and data are protected. That is very important.
Okay, great. We do have one question that I think you might be able to use for an example. Can you advise if a contractor is entitled to an extension of time where there is an employer-caused delay under FIDIC?
If the contractor says, can you advise if the contractor is entitled,
to an extension of time where there is an employer-caused delay under FIDIC?
Which FIDIC? Just FIDIC?
It just says FIDIC, yeah. So we tend to use FIDIC Red Book as the default.
Yeah, as you can see, we just generated the next output. Under the FIDIC contract, the contractor is indeed entitled to an extension of time for completion of the works if a delay is caused by actions or inactions attributable to the employer. This entitlement is grounded in the principle of fairness and the aim to maintain the economic balance of the contract, recognizing that contractors should not bear the time and cost implication of risk and event beyond their control, including those caused by the employer. I don't know about your specific, case, but for me, this introduction sounds compelling enough and correct. Now, what we need to do is check whether the clause is right, check the condition of entitlement based on your contract, and how to process the the claim for EOT. But the advice is there. I mean, the insight is there within seconds. Okay. Any other questions?
Another one is, could AI highlight conflicts between amendments to standard forms of contracts and standard clauses? For example, NEC, ECC standard core clauses and the use of Z clauses.
Another good question. AI doesn't have the capability yet to do redlining. What that means is, for example, analyzing amendments. The only way AI can do that if when you fine-tune it, i.e. you train your own model. You train your own model from scratch. And that eventually will happen when the NEC as an organization create their own model and train the data based on their very own contracts. That will happen in a few years. I'm pretty sure about that. But at this point in time, I wouldn't advise even trying to perform such actions, because you will not get the best output. Simply because AI isn't ready. AI isn't trained. I mean, AI, the GPT aspect of it is not trained yet to perform, to check agreements, for example, and redline a contract. However, you can copy and paste certain sections of your contract or of your amendment and ask GPT to advise on those points. So that's the only way you can sort of get a similar result, end result. Rather than going, okay, this is my contract, check the amendments for me, you will not get the best output. On the flip side, if you go, okay, this section A, I'm going to copy that, paste into AI. AI, tell me, okay, does this sound right against my context? AI will tell you, of course, you will have to feed in your context. AI will tell you, okay, based on what you've just said, this is the advice. And that's how you can progress.
Okay, great. I do have another one that you can use for an example. He has asked, can you advise on making a claim on concurrent delays under FIDIC Red Book?
Can you advise on making a claim
on concurrent delays?
On concurrent delays, yes.
Under FIDIC Red Book.
On the FIDIC Red Book. Right, this is key. I mean, AI always comes back with a warning. In this instance, we have legal and expert advice. Given the complexity of concurrent delays and the potential for significant financial implication, it is advisable to seek legal and expert advice. And that's very important. So let's go back to the top. Concurrent delays present a complex scenario of projects, especially on the FIDIC contract, where these occur when two or more delays happen within the same period, affecting the project timeline, with at least one event being attributable to the employer and another to the contractor, or a neutral event. The FIDIC Red Book does not explicitly define or provide a direct method of resolving these issues of concurrent delays, making the management of such delays intricate. However, general principles and guidelines can be applied to navigate these challenges. This is the power of AI. It offers general principles and guidelines so that you as an expert can go and think, look into your context and produce and manage your claim. Now, I'm just conscious that we are running out of time. Let's move on to ClaimMaster.AI very quickly to show you what it can do for you. Yeah. So if I stop sharing, is that right, Jen?
Yes. Yeah.
So this is ClaimMaster.AI, a platform that simplifies our claim drafting process. First thing we need to do is we select a template. Let's go into claims. Let's pick out a template. Delayed access. As you can see, with ClaimMaster.AI, you don't have to spend time creating GPTs. The software has created frameworks so that GPTs can be created within the software. They can be customized. For example, for a delay access template, we've built the model in such a way that it follows established principles, such as cause, effect, entitlement, mitigation, substantiation, to create a structured draft. On top of, as well, we've instructed the model to create the content, glossary of terms, etc. Let's run it. So here we have the option to select the language, any language you want, your creativity level, your tone of voice as well. So let's start with the default. So within seconds, you have a ready-made canvas to start drafting your claim, your delay access claim under any contract. This is not contract specific. You as an expert will provide the contents, the context later on. At this point, what you need to do is, if you are happy with this tone of voice, you can copy and paste onto a Word document and start inputting your context. The AI at this point doesn't have any of your specific data, right? So let's check another tone of voice, professional, for example. It structures it differently, okay? What that means is you get a more professional layout, a more professional tone. We can see that it follows the established principles, cause of delayed access, the effect, the entitlement, i.e. discuss the legal basis for claiming compensation, etc. Substantiation, mitigating efforts. The conclusion, your exhibits, your enclosures, appendices, and it gives you an example as well, a quick example. This template is very dynamic as opposed to static templates that we see usually across contracts. Let's pick out another template, for example. Let's pick out a disruption claim. Let's go professional. Let's go more factual on the creativity side. Still keep it to English. We generate. Now, we may have to give it a refresh because of the internet connection. For example, as you can see, we got there in the end. Okay? So always refresh. With AI, always refresh. AI can stop halfway through the generation process. Just click refresh or start all over again. Now, let's move on. Let's pick out another template. For example, if you work in delay, if you want to perhaps audit your delay process, let's pick out a default. What it does, you can use this template to audit your work. Here we've picked out the as plan and versus as build window analysis method. Now let's move on to the assistants. We have built assistants as well. These assistants are really the core GPTs built within ClaimMaster.AI. Now we see this area here. Your personal and project data are protected. This is the reference. This is the key to show that your data, the model, this custom AI model doesn't train the machine on your data. However, we still advise not to anonymize your data when you use any AI tool out there, including ClaimMaster.AI. For example, rather than referring to your own company, just refer to, or your client, just say ABC, that's it. Keep it anonymous always with AI. Now you can use the content rewriter if you are not happy with the output. You can save the documents. Another layer of safety within ClaimMaster.AI is that after 30 days, your documents are automatically deleted. This is part of the privacy and security of data, and this is best practice. Now as you have seen with ChatGPT, it keeps your data for as long as you need your data there. Your data is always living within ChatGPT, and that's the key difference with a custom AI like ClaimMaster.AI. After 30 days, any draft gets deleted automatically. and we don't even keep it in our database. It just goes away completely. Here we have the smart editor. The smart editor is really where you can input your context for a full draft. For example, let's pick up the delayed access template again. Make it more factual. But here we can create variants, like 2 variants of the same tonality, for example. So if we go default, we generate. It's going to take a bit of time. Again, always check your connection, your internet connection. Right, here we have 2 variants. We have 1 and 2 further down. That's it, further down here. Now all we need to do is just rewrite the exec summary, input our context, and click save. Name the document, save it, or download it as a Word document. As simple as that. So in a nutshell, ClaimMaster.AI saves time, saves resources, minimizes errors, but it is our job as an expert or practitioners to check the output. Now we're going to move back to the main slide. Let's talk about ethics and data privacy. Ethical AI is all about balancing fairness and security. To eliminate biases, we use a diverse data set and checks to ensure AI fairness. In terms of data security, we apply top-tier encryption and strict access controls for data protection. When it comes to user data policy, we commit not to use user-specific data for AI training, as we prioritize privacy. Some of the AI myths to clear a common misconception about AI in the construction industry or claims management is that AI will replace claim practitioners. But the reality is that AI is designed to augment and streamline our work, not replace us. It can never replace us. We have the context. AI doesn't have the context of our projects. It rather enhances accuracy and efficiency, allowing us to focus on more complex aspects of claim management. For example, managing our clients, managing the engineers as well, creating better relationships. Myth number 2, AI is infallible and requires no human oversight. But the reality is that while AI significantly reduces error, our expertise is crucial for context. We need to interpret the data and make final decisions. AI only serves as a powerful tool. It only complements us rather than substitute our judgment. Myth number 3, AI compromises data privacy. The reality is that modern AI solutions prioritize data security. As you have seen with ClaimMaster, encryption and privacy measures are top of the agenda. We take user data very, very, very seriously. We anonymize the data. We replace personal data with anonymous identifiers or generic identifiers for that extra layer of security. In terms of resources, we can look into the Arcadis Construction Dispute Reports. It's a very comprehensive report, although based on the US market. I, for instance, have witnessed a lot of the main causes happening here in the UK. For memberships, the Institute of Construction Claim Practitioners. This is the key institute for claims practitioners. Generative AI examples. This is a very good Google insight. It provides use cases and training courses. Of course, ClaimMaster.AI, if you are looking to draft claims professionally, quickly. ChatGPT, if you feel like you don't want to spend time with by using a custom model, ChatGPT is your go-to tool. But I will advise, again, be very, very cautious about what you input into ChatGPT. It is not construction specific. It is too broad for our profession. By all means, you can use ChatGPT for day-to-day queries. ChatGPT is fine for that. But when it comes to construction, we need to use specific tools that leverage our established principles, that understands, that think more or less like us. Not quite like us, but we can work with to generate a better, a comprehensive, more compelling output. We also have Gemini by Google, which is similar to ChatGPT. This model from Google is based on anything and everything that has been populated within the Google platform. So you can imagine for a number of years, Google has been, gathering all this data that we input. Now Google is just selling us back that data in a more generative manner. Rather than going to Google to type, you go to Gemini and talk to it. Thank you very much for your time today. If you have more questions, feel free to email me at paul.njonga@ClaimMaster.AI. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I welcome your questions.
All right. Well, we do have a few, but I'm aware that we are already 3 minutes past the hour.
I can give you 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll take it. Thank you. I will ask first, I would like to inquire whether there are any costs related to the professional use of ClaimMaster.AI.
There is a cost. There is a cost. What I would say is that the platform was intended originally for the UK market. So the price point is, I do understand that the price point is high. However, for specific members of the ICCP, we are going to offer a 50% discount.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Okay. So there is a cost. There is a discovery subscription, which is free, but that only allows for 2 templates. So feel free to register. It's never going to cost you anything. Then we have the next membership, which is a standard, which is, £100 UK GBP and $199, more geared towards corporates. Now we do customize the platform as well for clients. For example, we have a demo going at the moment, a pilot going at the moment, where one of the clients has extended that model. What they've done is they've used the base model, but on top of that, we are building an event recording system, which gives it a full claim management system. So they record the events. In case there is a claim, they just go and draft their claim, and everything is there within the platform. So
Wow.
that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. And another question about ClaimMaster.AI, can it be used for private agreements, or can you upload a contract agreement into it?
ClaimMaster.AI, we don't allow uploads yet because it's very early days to be uploading stuff onto AI. That is our perspective. So you can't upload a contract onto AI. AI is strictly generative at this point. But of course, as AI develop, as security improve, as we get more processes, we will eventually get to that stage.
Okay, well, that has handled 2 of the questions in one. Okay, this is about ChatGPT and Claude. Will Copilot and Claude be able to carry out similar functions as ChatGPT?
Of course, they will eventually. They will definitely. I mean, Copilot, but these tools, Claude, Copilot, ChatGPT, are again they are foundational models. They are very generic. They are pretty much the same. It's more of a matter of taste. If you like ChatGPT, you use it. If you like Copilot, you go Copilot. But however, Copilot uses OpenAI as well.
Oh, right. So it's the same.
So Copilot, yes, Copilot is pretty much, yeah, the same.
Okay, and I'm gonna combine two people's questions because they're sort of asking the same information. And this is also about ChatGPT and the like. If you have something, one asks if they have a claim from the contractor and another asks about a bespoke contract, can you upload those into ChatGPT and get an evaluation or get it to understand what you're working with?
Of course you can upload, but again, don't upload contract specific documents onto ChatGPT. Upload sections. If you have specific sections, upload those sections, put those sections in brackets, and ask your specific question and give it context. Yes, but don't. I strongly advise not to upload documents onto ChatGPT like that. No.
Okay.
The risk is ChatGPT will end up training your data, training the model on your data, and also it'll pick out in terms of privacy. You will be at risk.
Okay, and in terms of claims, can you have AI evaluate a claim that you have received?
Absolutely, absolutely. You receive a claim, for example, within ClaimMaster.AI, you go into the main assistant dashboard. You can submit your query. You can say, I've received this claim, from XYZ contractor today, advise me on this, on the best strategy, for example, or how to negotiate this contract. It will give you it'll generate clear insights that you can use and then apply to your context or change or tweak a little bit. Yes, you can definitely do that.
All right, excellent. Many times it is necessary to review other elements of the contract, such as specifications, scope, plans, etc. How can this be done?
It can be done. Again, you have to provide context. It goes back to prompt engineering and prompt design. Say exactly what you need AI to do, okay? Tell AI, look, this is my context. I want you to generate this, guide me towards this topic and generate this letter or this report or this table in Excel or a PowerPoint, okay? But you have the context, not AI. All AI does is think behind the scenes very quickly and generate the context, the content. That is why, working with AI is so powerful, because you bring your expertise, you bring your judgment, you bring your insight, and AI bring their insights together. It's just it's very powerful.
Okay. And if you've got time for another, how does GPT evaluate the merit of an event that has triggered the delay? Is that merely based on the contractual provisions only, or does it delve into the chorology of the event? They may mean chronology of the event from the contemporaneous documents and make a conclusion.
Well, that sounds like a very contract specific question, but however, what I would say is that you have, again, context is very important within any AI tool, generative AI tool. Context is very important. Give it context and see what it says. If you don't like the output, ask it the question again, clarify, give me the right answer. Talk to it like you were talking to your colleague next door, okay? Unfortunately, I can't give you a specific answer, but just use AI as your assistant. Ask it any question, even stupid question. AI will tell you this question, I can't answer it because the reasoning perhaps is flawed, or AI will say something. You have to challenge it as well. You have to challenge AI. In case it gives you the wrong information, you say, no, I don't like this information because I believe it's wrong. It may ask you, why do you believe it's wrong? You say, I believe it's wrong because of X, Y, and Z. And then, yeah, we don't have to rely solely on AI. We have to challenge AI as well. And that's the beauty of it. AI pushes us to raise our game as well.
That's true. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last one, what is available now or will soon be available in terms of capacity for AI to be able to digest large amounts of project-specific correspondence and prepare a chronology summary of specific problems such as delay, changes, loss of productivity, etc.?
That is going to come very soon, but that is contingent on regulations, on how we train AI. What I would say is that don't expect that change or that innovation from ChatGPT or Copilot because they are too generic. But what you will see is big construction companies, governments, what they will do because they have the data, they will start fine-tuning their models, training their own machines to gather those data, right? And now you will see systems talking to each other. For example, your scheduling system, Primavera or whatever, talking to your accounting system and bringing everything together to give you that prediction or those insights. That's what's going to happen.
Wow, that'll be revolutionary, I think, for a lot of people.
It will be, but it won't. We, as claim practitioners, it's not a threat because we will always have context. We'll always have context. It might be a threat for lawyers, for example, with AI, legal AI. But for us, because we understand the technical aspect of it, a bit of law, a bit of business management as well, we are in a good position to leverage AI, I believe. We are.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you for staying late to answer all of these questions. I think everyone's heads are just spinning with the possibilities now.
Yeah.
This has been an incredibly informative session, and I thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jen.
All right, and thank you everybody who has joined us as well. And you will be getting information if you requested it in the next few days, and if you are a member, you will be receiving your certificate in the next few days, and the replay should be on YouTube by the weekend. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.